Hello everyone, I am Father Jonathan Emery, and this is Socially Sourced, a video series on the social teaching of the Catholic Church. This is episode 5, Rights and Responsibilities. There are two forms of rights, natural and positive. Natural rights are ones that are given from nature and were broken down by the philosopher John Locke into 3 categories: life, liberty, and property. If those sound somewhat familiar, it's because Thomas Jefferson took them from Locke when he wrote the Declaration, though he changed property to pursuit of happiness due to the debate over slavery in the Continental Congress. Notice that no one has to give these to you. They can only be taken from you. Your body will keep functioning until something stops it. You are free to move about the world as you choose until something stops you. During that free movement of life, you are free to acquire goods, tools, and the requirements of sustenance by your work until something takes it from you. Clearly, they build on one another. And because of this, there is a hierarchy of rights, as the ones most intrinsic to ourselves are more important than the ones on the fringes of our reality. This is even seen in how the government chooses to punish criminals. First, they take away our property in the form of fines. Then they take away our liberty in the form of incarceration. Finally, in the case of the most heinous crimes, they may take away our life in the form of execution. This makes the right to life the most important right, then liberty, followed by property, and the positive rights. So what are the positive rights? They are the rights that require another to act on our behalf. Examples of positive rights are medical care, education, or employment. Nature doesn't automatically supply these things. To receive medical care, a doctor must treat you. To receive an education, a teacher must train you. To receive employment, someone has to hire you. This is where rights get tricky. Positive rights make demands upon other individuals, which could infringe upon the natural rights of life, liberty, and property of the doctor, the teacher, or the employer. However, the person in need of the positive rights may not receive the proper medicine, education, employment, etc., in order to properly live out their rights of life, liberty, and property. No legislation is ever going to resolve this fairly. Someone will always lose out when these rights are disputed under the law. This is where church teaching enters in. Since the image of God within each human being gives them dignity, and the law of love that Christ established for us requires us to go beyond what is legislated, it is the duty of each individual to protect the rights of others and themselves, though people don't need persuasion to convince them of that, within their own hearts. Therefore, rights always coincide with responsibilities. I have a right to life, but a responsibility to live that life well and in a manner that respects the right to life in all others. I have a right to liberty, but a responsibility not to harm others with that liberty. I have a right to property, but the responsibility to use my wealth and abilities in a way that provides for my needs without creating a deficit for my brothers and sisters. The way that Christians are asked to look at rights is to start with remembering Christ freely chose to surrender his property, the power and dignity of God, in order to become human. Christ freely surrendered his liberty when he said, "Father, not my will, but yours be done." Christ freely surrendered his life. "Into your hands I commend my spirit," all in an effort to restore our right to eternal life. And notice that eternal life would classify as a positive right, as it is not inherently bestowed by nature. We should all consider this first whenever I'm about to defend my own rights, then ask whether or not I am exercising that right responsibly. Catholic social teaching is at its core focused on the hearts of individuals. If we ever want to achieve a just and prosperous society, it will require each of us grappling with these issues in our hearts. But until that day, we use our governments to help keep abuse from those who refuse to recognize the responsibilities inherent in our rights. However, we will discuss that more towards the end of the series. Join us next week for episode 6, The Common Good, and God bless.